So today we've talked about EA being taken private in a $55 billion deal by the Saudi investment fund. And then we also got today a breaking news story about the Abu Dhabi investment office out of the UAE also funding, allegedly, a brand new massive project. In this case, it's an exclusive from Insider Gaming reporting new The Lord of the Rings game in development. And what they say is a brand new Lord of the Rings game is in development and has been for some time. Sources close to the game tell Insider Gaming that the new title is set to be, at least partially, funded by the Abu Dhabi Investment Office, or ADIO. This funding should roughly equate to $100 million, give or take. They say, quote, the deal has been in the works for since last year and, while not signed yet due to the number of moving parts, is said to be made official soon and could happen as early as next week. Regarding current funding of the game's development, it has been funded internally. As far as what the game will be, sources didn't want to say too much. What was said, however, is that it will be a third-person action game that is designed in a way to, quote, compete with Hogwarts Legacy. In addition to the ADIO, it was said that multiple parties are involved with the game, including Embracer, who of course own the rights to Lord of the Rings, Revenge, and other studios. Embracer has had the rights to the Lord of the Rings IP for video games since 2022, when it paid roughly, or nearly, $400 million for it. It has since licensed out those rights to other companies to produce titles, including the much maligned Lord of the Rings Gollum game, which is still just like such a classic. If you don't remember this game somehow, it's this one. it's this one. Oh God, I forgot about the initial version of him they showed. It's just one of those things where you hear about it and you're like, who said this was a good idea? Like, who wanted to do this? This is crazy. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane that anybody thought that was going to end well. But yeah, they did that. It went horribly. And then they, of course, shut it all down, got rid of the studio and all of that. It was a whole thing. But that's where they've put their efforts since acquiring the rights to the IP. When we contracted, I can't read. When they contacted for a statement, Embracer says that, quote, a general rule, we do not comment on rumors or speculation. Revenge, one studio said to be involved with the game, also declined to comment on rumor and speculation, which kind of tells you everything that you need to know. Revenge, who are they? Let's look them up real quick. Revenge Studio, maybe Game Studios. Let's see. Revenge Game Studio, it's a game development company. Revenge Games, maybe. LinkedIn sucks ass. Hold on. Is this it? It's in Bangalore. Okay. Roughly 11 to 50 employees. Our mission is to transform online gaming. Okay. Is this the same one though? Is this the same one? Okay. I'm genuinely not sure. I'm not sure. Revenge Studios. Like, is this the same one? I don't recognize them. Does anybody know what they've done? Does anyone know? Oh, it's India. It's India, not Indonesia. I saw IN and I was like, Indonesia? India makes sense. So I genuinely don't know how this works out. It seems like an interesting idea to spend like $200 million on a brand new massive Lord of the Rings game meant to compete with Hogwarts Legacy. And I've said for a long time, I think Lord of the Rings is one of the most underutilized IP in all of gaming. That and just like Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean, also super underutilized. I think you could do all sorts of stuff with that and it would pop off and it'd be great. But I genuinely don't know how this goes. I think in order to deliver a game that competes with Hogwarts Legacy, you need a pretty capable development studio. And to their credit, Avalanche really blew people away, including me, when they released Hogwarts Legacy. And I made videos about it at the time where I was like, temper your expectations for Hogwarts Legacy, because like Hogwarts Legacy was being made by Avalanche, and their last game before Hogwarts Legacy, do you guys remember what it was called? Do you guys remember? I do. No one. Their last game before Hogwarts Legacy was Cars 3 Driven to Win. Yeah. This was their last game before Hogwarts Legacy. And so I think it was fair to be like, maybe like temper your expectations for Hogwarts Legacy, because this is their last project. And to be fair, prior to this, like they popped off. Or prior to this, I don't think there was a lot of reason to think that they would pop off. But after Hogwarts Legacy, they really exploded and did a phenomenal job. And I had plenty of issues with Hogwarts Legacy. You know, I think that there was plenty of room for improvement. But as far as like going from that to that, it was really incredible how they managed to pull it off. Yeah, as you can see here, games developed. So they had a long history. But prior to that, they did Disney Infinity 2, 3, and then Cars 3 Driven to Win, and then Hogwarts Legacy in 2023. I think everybody had a right to be skeptical and then to pop off to that degree. I mean, it was crazy. It was very, very impressive to see them blow up like that. It's really cool. Oh, dude, they also developed Hannah Montana Spotlight World Tour. Wow. So going from that to Hogwarts Legacy, really impressive. But that's an exceptional case. In the sense that it is literally an exception, you know? It's not common. It's not common to go from licensed like Disney games that play like this and look like this to making like the most successful game of 2023 in terms of sales. It's not that common. Not that common. It's pretty hard to do that, but they pulled it off. They managed it. And maybe, you know, in 5 years, we'll be talking about the Lord of the Rings game and be like, can you believe that we hadn't heard of Revenge Studios before this? Maybe we'll be saying that. I genuinely don't know. But I think you have a reason to be skeptical. And all skepticism is about is not accepting a claim until there is sufficient evidence to justify acceptance of that claim. It doesn't mean that you're always like, or it should be clear. It does not mean that you're like a cynical prick. It doesn't mean that you're like, oh no, it looks like crap. That's not skepticism. That's cynicism. That's you just being a jerk. Skepticism is just being like, I'm not going to get like super hyped or excited or give you my money or anything until I have reason to believe that this game warrants that or deserves that. And in this case, I mean, hearing this story, like Embracer Group has not exactly done a great job with Lord of the Rings. Hate to be that guy, but like literally have not. So like when this was their last outing with Lord of the Rings, call me a negative Nancy, but like I'll withhold my excitement. Okay, so I don't care how much money you throw at it. If this is what they thought was good enough for the IP, I'm going to withhold my excitement, you know? So we'll see probably in like 4 or 5 years, but allegedly they're doing that. And who knows, maybe as part of this announcement, they're going to reveal that they actually have like a really accomplished studio. Maybe they're going to announce, yeah, it's being helped by Revenge Studios, but also we have freaking Larian and they're making they're the primary developers and they're going to do a big Baldur's Gate style RPG in the Lord of the Rings IP. If that's the case, I will be hard. Is that the term? I'd be excited, throbbing, maybe, but I'm not. I don't think that's what's going to be announced here. So we'll see. Moist. That's a good. Yeah, that too. Horde. But anyway, so we might see a new Lord of the Rings game at some point. He took my thing.